Hey y'all, my name is Nat. I hope you're having a terrific day today, and for this video we are going to be doing a walkthrough of my new reading journal. But first, before we get into that, we have to say goodbye to this old journal, my second one for 2022. She is definitely a bit chunkier now. It's weird to me that it's 6 months have already gone by and that we're saying goodbye to this journal, but it's true. I talked about how I did with my reading goals in the January book tag, which I'll link in the cards up above, and I went into a lot more detail about all of these favorites in my best books of 2022, which I'll also link. I love looking at this shelf page and seeing so many of these 5-star books. This is just fantastic. I do think I forgot to mark a few books which I DNF'd, but you know, that's not that big a deal. My in versus out looks amazing because in the end we totaled all these numbers down to -7, meaning I ended the year with 7 less books than I started on my owned TBR. My series page definitely grew a little bit from when I first put this in here, but thankfully I did actually manage to finish out a good few of them. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, technically The Winston Brothers. I still want to read this last little novella, but I haven't gotten there yet. The Bromance Book Club, The Trouble with Hating You, The Aunties Duology, but of course there is still plenty that I'm in the middle of, and we're gonna work on that this year. That's one of my goals. I've got to get better about these. As for my ARCs page, I have a good few left to look forward to in 2023. Cannot wait to start into those. And then just doing a flip through of some of my old spreads. It's always nice to go back and look through previous months just to see how they went. I especially like doing my stats page now and looking back on this. I also like that I started doing these favorite pages. I really appreciate getting to look back and see like what was the highlight of the month. It's so wild that I've had Sam for this long already, but at the same time, I believe it because he has gotten so big. It's been a minute since I've been to my favorite brunch place. I know it's kind of hard to tell with the dimensions of this photo, but he was so tiny and now he's a lanky boy and he's getting so big. He still looks like a kitten, but he is so much bigger. Now into August, which I think this is actually my most watched through walkthrough, so I guess other people like these spreads as much as I did. I also really like the color combination I did with this month. Beginning pages in my new journal aren't the exact same, but they are pretty close to these. Another one. It's crazy to think that Josh and I have been dating for over 6 years now. I do think I am gonna start trying to do these printed out covers some more. I kind of experimented with those a little bit and I did enjoy them, but you know, I think I'm gonna bring it back because I do like actually having the covers on the page every once in a while. Rom-Comathon actually had another round in December. I'm very much hoping that they will do another one within the next few months and that I don't have to wait until August. I'm really glad I included this in here because honestly, I could probably reuse this in the next round of Bookopoly-thon. That would be really great. I mean, I'd basically have to just say ignore the photos on the sides, but at least I already have the board printed out. Oh my gosh, my giant mess up of, for some reason, I don't know why I wrote April. I'm still so flabbergasted by this, but what a mess up. It was September. See? April. I don't know what happened here. Another favorite moment, Ellie and Kat coming to visit. I do love those weirdos and I miss them. This 3D sticker that definitely sticks out. Here's a little bit of a peek into how much bigger Sam's gotten, but he's gotten even bigger since then. He's actually grown into his ears a little bit more now, and he does love laundry day just as much as he did in this photo. Did love my October spreads, and honestly I think every single year I will always do a rendition sort of similar to this. I like having a bit spooky but kind of cute theme going on. That's just something that's probably going to stay the same every single October. Anti-Hero continues to be one of my most played songs on Spotify. This is when I got my pip sticks, and trust me, those make a major appearance in my new journal. I do really love these Book of the Month spreads. I don't know if these are quite my favorite of the year, but they're definitely pretty up there. I really enjoyed these, and you know, from the reactions I've gotten from a lot of people, seems that they did pretty well. Very happy about that, because honestly, sometimes I do get a little nervous sharing my reading journal just because I'm not the most artistically inclined person. And then finally, my completed December spreads. I'll admit, these are not as completed as I would like for them to be. Yeah, I had a lot of 0 days in December, but to be fair, my work life was absolutely insane for the entirety of the month. It was just crazy. So like, I'd come home and I would be so incredibly dead. It was a miracle if I was reading anything, but I did start a habit of trying to read in the mornings while I drank my coffee, which I do think helped out with my page count. Here's hoping that between reading in the mornings as well as trying to read at night, maybe my page count will increase this year. We'll see. Emily Lloyd-Jones' writing is absolutely gorgeous. You can tell I didn't get terribly far into We Hunt the Flame because there'd probably be a good few of those quotes in here too. Yeah, and then I didn't even bother to do my statistics page, honestly. I just didn't worry about it. It was a reread month. It was very relaxed. I did have another DNF, unfortunately, and 2 other books that were new to me, which I read in this month. Both of them I did enjoy. Black Sun, technically, I am actually going to count this as my first book read in 2023, so you're going to see a little bit more of that. I don't really have a favorite movie. I guess I could say Glass Onion because it was absolutely ridiculous and a great time, and the twist was pretty crazy. As for TV shows, Josh and I watched the entirety of Wednesday in a single night. It was very good. I'm definitely hoping for a second season. Even if some of the teenage drama was a little out there for us, we did still really enjoy it. And then I also have just gotten back into Criminal Minds and managed to get Josh addicted to it as well. My favorite meal of the month had to be Josh's mom's wedding soup. It was delicious. I don't really put a song either because I usually just listen to my punk Christmas playlist every December. I don't really have a favorite song on there because I don't really listen to any song on there apart from in December. And then as for moment, probably when my brother gave me my gift from him, which had wrapping paper that had his face on it from a Snapchat filter that I used on him maybe 5 years ago, and it's absolutely hilarious. I would show it on camera, but I forgot to ask him if he would be okay with that, so I'm not going to, and be respectful. It was so funny, and his reaction while handing me the box was equally as hilarious. In a book package I got, I had these little stickers, so I decided to include them in here. This was a cutout from an old Christmas card that was just so cute that I had to include it. My Secret Santa from a gift exchange I did sent me this little postcard from Boston, and it was just so adorable that I had to include it. She also sent a little note, so I taped that in here too. And then this was a Christmas card from my alma mater. They always send one out and it's just adorable. Here you can see where I was planning out for my new bullet journal. This was a Christmas card from my cousin, and then begins the giant list for to-dos because I've been staying home and just trying to get as much done as possible for the last few days. And then finally is, I'm gonna start attempting to do calendar blocking. If you ever look at anything on the productivity side of YouTube, you might know about this. It's kind of hard to explain. I highly recommend watching the Bliss Beans video about it. I'll put a link to that in the cards up above. Yeah, so this was me basically brain dumping and just trying to figure out what was gonna work. I didn't get nearly as much of this filled as I would have liked, but thankfully there's not too much left, so I'm not gonna be very mad. All right, so goodbye, old friend. We may see you again on my shelf, but it is officially time for my new journal. So I am going to try and make this one last for the entire year. It is a fair bit thicker, which will definitely help with that. This one is lined just like my last two, not as long as the previous ones. The spaces are actually a bit bigger, but that's not the end of the world. And then starting into my 2023 spreads. So I will say, I didn't really have a set theme that I wanted to do for these opening pages. I kind of just wanted to do blue colors. And then I looked through my pip sticks, tried to find some stickers that worked. And I kind of went with this ongoing theme of like nature, riding the line between winter and spring. I decided to do one of these reading goal pages this year because I thought maybe getting to color in the books would help me feel even more successful. We'll see if that works. This was a pain in the ass to do because I am such a perfectionist and I wanted the boxes to be as equal as possible. They definitely aren't, and it kind of drives me crazy to look at it sometimes, but we're not going to talk about that. My goal for this year is 120 books since I hit 124 last year, and I figured maybe I can still do that again. As I mentioned in my previous one, I'm gonna start trying to do the printout covers again. We'll see if I actually stay on top of that, but this is for my favorites page. I don't really know why I included December because it's my reread month, so like this would not really count for anything anyway, but it's there. With the kettles, I figured this one's like kind of cozy, and that's sort of keeping with the winter theme. My series tracker. I actually got the idea for this sort of layout from Tori at Tori Between Pages. I'll put a link to her in the cards as well as in the description. Highly recommend checking out her stuff. She does booktube as well as reading journal, and her journal is absolutely stunning. I wish mine looked as good as hers. My books read for the year page. Of course, I had to do the classic shelving style. And then I decided to keep the color trend for my rating. Ones are also DNFs. This is just some room for extra if I end up going over. Maybe I will. Fingers crossed. That would be great if I do. A updated ARCs page for all of the ones that I haven't read yet. I should hopefully have already finished Don't Fear the Reaper by the time you're watching this, and may possibly have started onto The Black Queen by Jimada Emil. And then finally into my January spreads. So my theme for this one was kind of, again, sticking with like simple nature pieces, but then I wanted to do these like big color blocking circles around it. I got the idea from a old spread that Christina the Roomies Digest did a while back, and I kind of just changed the color scheme. Then this quote from the Midnight Library just paired so perfectly with it. Never underestimate the big importance of small things. Rather than doing the traditional calendar layout I was doing last year, I decided I'm going to try out the log style and see if this works for me. It's a lot easier to write in. I do use this, but I tend to use my digital calendar a little bit more. At least this way I'm not putting in a ton of effort and then not using it at all. My TBR page, this actually already has 2 more books than was on my TBR in the video. So we have The Night Gwen Stacy Died by Sarah Bruni. This is the pick for the book club I do with a few friends. Ed completed his first rotation, meaning he gets to choose the next book for us, and this is what he went with. As far as I'm aware, it does not actually have to do with Gwen Stacy dying. Thank God, that's just the title. And then also The Silence of Girls by Pat Barker. This is gonna be the pick for the Story Continued book club, which I will put a link to that in the description down below. This is a Greek mythology retelling that I've been wanting to read for a while, and whenever it got picked for the book club, I couldn't resist myself. I have to pick it up. My page is red graph, which this is where you can really see that the lines are a lot wider on this notebook because my previous one, the graph itself was a lot shorter. But they are longer because this goes over 200, so my last number now is 260. We'll see how often I actually top that. My favorite lines page, and honestly I actually really like this one. I like how the title turned out. I like the odd combination of dots and flowers, and then I just like how this drawing turned out, and the blue works really well with it. I'm not sure why. I think like the simplicity of this one, and then the circle accents that are like really cohesive throughout it. I think this might be my favorite page of the month. My brain dump, of course, because it's required. I thought I might actually try and do the in versus out graph every month this year to see how that goes, and actually keep track of which books I'm bringing in and which books I'm sending out. That way I can kind of see how long does it actually take me to read these books that I'm bringing in. My wrap up and statistics pages. And then my favorites page. All right, y'all, so that is it for today. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. I really appreciate it. Make sure to hit like and subscribe down below. I have all my socials linked in the description if you're interested in keeping up with what I am reading. I come out with videos on Monday and Friday, but until then, I hope you continue to have a terrific day. Love you, bye!